Hello there, and welcome to my third sort of dev diary of my own custom Pokemon ROM hack. And I want to do things a bit differently today. And instead of walking through on the game, I want to walk through in story maps. That's because of this area here. So if you haven't seen or played the game, this area looking at right now is called Granite Peak. So if you remember, we finished off last time. You come out after doing your first gym, you come out Mahogany Hills, and then you climb up of this mountain. There's a few things we could talk about on this mountain, but it's a sort of standard route with a lot of exploring areas. We'll talk about that more in a future one. But in Granite Peak, the original design philosophy is it was going to be kind of this hub area where you could come back, it would develop, it would grow as you get more sort of badges or unlock through the story. You could possibly buy a house to show some of your sort of achievements into it. A lot of that might be scrapped or removed. I don't know at this point in time. But one thing I did want to do is this building here, and it's called the Granite Peak School. And I wanted it to be a repeatable way so you can do a lot of challenges. The way to really sort of, one, teach people new mechanics, and two, be a decent challenge for those who want to do it. So this is an entirely optional area. As always, you can follow down towards sort of Coral Peak, and that will reach you to the second gym. But if you go off the beaten track, you'll be rewarded here. So, the school. It all comes down to, what do I want from this game? I want it to be a good way to explore. I want it to be a good sort of environment for you to sort of play in. And I want it to be a way to bring people up from just the standard low-level power of the original games into more developed game. If you have played the original games, you know they're quite simple. They don't really get into the mechanics of how things can work together. And this is meant to hopefully bridge into some things you may not realize as a casual player, but it's sort of expected if you play challenge hacks. Again, this isn't a challenge hack, but there needs to be some way of learning it. So the first thing you do when you come into it is you hit this trigger point, and that will have this character interact with you. This is Matt. He's based off one of my friends. He doesn't have a custom sprite yet, but it's coming. And he's going to be sort of a secondary rival who's developing along the side with you. And he's a student in this school. He will battle you. He's got a basic team. But when you face him later, he's going to have taken what you can learn from here and develop it. The school itself is split into two sort of sections. The first is the 4 classes. So we've got the evolution room, the items room, the move room, and the ability room. And then you've got this guy. In their latest version, he is currently turned off. I need to do an overhaul of how I do it. It's a bit finicky on how it works. And again, I want to know if you guys like the way I'm planning it, but we'll discuss that more later. But he is one of the teachers. He's showing you about the school tournament. Before you can even get into the school tournament, you need to do the 4 rooms. Each of them give you a sort of a patch and award for doing it. The first one up is the evolution room. We have these, I haven't done them yet, but these are going to be some books, which is basically just going to be dumped, massively overlooked. Again, you don't get an item from this room. I might change that, maybe give you an ability. No, there you go. You do get 2 ability capsules. Nice little item, which is very useful to have. Those who don't know, ability capsule will change your ability of a Pokemon. But these are, so we've got the one guy who's using abilities to give them immunities. Levitate, water absorb, or water bubble, which just limits its damage from fire. You've then got the other way of, them working together. But I probably should make this a double battle. So you've got Pincurchin comes out with Electric Surge, then boost Holucha with the Unburden and the Electric Seed. You've got Torkoal, which will come out and jump, but it will get boosted from a water move. And Cast Form, which will get benefited by the weather. And of course, we've got one more, which is sort of Yamask, passing on its thing. All these are Pokemon with abilities that can affect the opposing player. So you've got Yamask, obviously with Mummy, Lugma, which you can get burnt through Flame Body, and Pikachu with Static. So, again, introductions, a lot of people may know this stuff, but there's a way to bring you in. And it is a decent challenge. The reward from that challenge is this horrendous script. So, like I mentioned, it is currently cut out. I do need to fix it. I recently did a massive update, and every time I do an update, it changes it. The school tournament is sort of set in various ways. So, it has a level cap. The depending on what Pokemon you can bring in and what Pokemon your opponent has. So you can actually go above this level cap, but it's just for them. And it goes up as you get more badges, and it does actually change the rewards you get. So as you have more rewards, you get more money. If you do it the first time as well, you'll get the Silver Shield. This is sort of a practice run for what I'm calling the Champions Tournament. So in the post game, there's going to be a very difficult tournament where we can throw a load of trainers in. And you might be seeing this Frontier being thrown around because I am basically just reusing the Frontier code, and it does teleport you to. I need to make a custom map for it. Again, if anyone has any idea on how to do good tile sets, please help, because I cannot do art myself. But I am just trying to utilize as much that is already built in without having to reinvent the wheel. This is sort of the question I've got for you guys. If you like it the way I'm going to describe it, or maybe I should look at doing it a simpler way where we just have it in a set route. Why I'm talking about set route and stuff. So it does all this setting up. So it picks the data level mode. We set it to 50. This level was actually defined on here. So, you know, it's level 22, 28, 35, 40, 50. And what I've used the Battle Dome system for is it has an inbuilt way of comparing and creating a sort of head-to-head winner stays in tournament bracket is the one I'm after. And the reason I want to do that is if we go into the waiting room, we have all this sort of things going on. So unlike the normal Battle Dome, it doesn't load your party, so you can actually use the party you have from the default. It uses this great little static tourney tree, so it shows you who beat who, and it does this all so it can be random. So I've taken a lot of changes from that, removed some things we don't need to retire, we don't need to quit so much. It's trying to use a bit more. A couple of bugs which I've removed where it was deleting your team and stuff, but I had to adjust it. And if we can dig it out, a load of custom Pokemon with their moves and items and nature. But this is the real magic. If we scroll to the bottom here, we can see a ton of trainers. So we can see the Frontiermon tournaments, and this is basically a script that generates, if we go into it, it just picks the 3 Pokemon that they have, and you pass it in which of the 3 Pokemon it has, and it will pick it from this list. It allows me to create a huge list of custom trainers for this, and the way the dome works is it will randomly pick from the list a load of trainers, and again, I'm using the default one. I might change this up a little bit, and if you guys like this idea, maybe I'll refactor it. If you guys don't like this idea and we want it more static, then we can do that. And the idea is it'll pick a load of trainers. So pick 16 trainers, puts them in the list. So 15 trainers, and you puts them in the list. You then do your first battle, and it actually compares. So let's say Jillian and Zoe are taking on. It does some maths to compare, the typings and their base stats, and it will do a sort of a rough battle, and it will give a winner. And then it moves through until you get to the final. And the idea of this is every time you do the tournament, you'll take on different trainers. Some are quite tough. You've got Jason here with an Espeon and a Prinplup. Others are a lot weaker with Geodude, Graveler, Voltorb. Tough, but not too horrendous. And this is why I've used this system. Problem is, it's become very buggy and very difficult to maintain. And this is why I'm looking at refactoring it. But I think the major design sort of philosophy I want on this is actually, have I done all this work, which is giving no benefit for you guys? I think what I do need to sort of overhaul a lot more than what I've got here. It's all well and good me saying this is also very early into it, so I've managed to handle all the trainers and all of the Pokemon side of it. But what we haven't got working yet is the way it does the talking. But currently, it is just overriding existing trainers, so a lot of the sprites and a lot of the text doesn't make sense. And again, we're limited by the fact on how Battle Frontier does it. And Battle Frontier does it this way, which makes it a lot lighter weight, so it can generate these things on the fly, so it doesn't take up a ton of memory inside the app. Man, I've been waffling for a while. This is something that's a headache of mine for sort of almost 2 years now, and I just want to get an idea of your guys' view. If you like what I've been trying to do here, then maybe I'll continue it. If you don't like what I've been doing here and I'm making a mess, maybe there's other ideas or things that we can do forward. But we will want to try and develop it further, because when we get to the post game, we do the Champions Tournament, I'm going to be doing a very similar thing, this time with level 100 Pokemon teams with full competitive movesets, like the Battle Frontier, but again using your guys' teams. This is a way to incorporate as many viewers as I can. Please leave a comment on what you think, and I'll see you in the next Dev Diary as we sort of head down, talk about some more of the areas and Coral Port.